And welcome back. This is your man Warrior, and this is a two-part series. I got Canderous Ordo video out as well, so if you want to check him out, go check him out. That's right, is Bastila Shan. We finally know what that cryptic message that ended up being decoded. It was a quote from Bastila Shan, and that's right, we've got Bastila Shan fallen, and this is probably, like I said, going to be a part of the Old Republic group of individuals that will more than likely be needed for Darth Malak. My guess is that's just a guess, but probably a pretty educated guess. We're pretty smart as a community. Now, Bastila Shan fallen, at first glance may look like she's just okay. When you start watching some of the footage, I'm going to have arena footage at the end, but I want you to remember when Bastila Shan first came into the game, we didn't think she was that good, and then we finally got her in a Revan team, and we realized she's actually really good, and so you got to make sure that today's comparative analysis is based on the future potential with possible synergies with other characters that maybe aren't even in the game yet. But with that said, she still has a solid kit. Let's go through the kit and then look at a couple arena battles. Now, she is going to be obviously Sith, Old Republic in support. I love the fact that she has the Old Republic tag and the Sith tag. And she is going to be a support, and she's going to inflict shock. This will be the third character in the game to inflict shock. Pretty awesome. We've got Emperor Palpatine, we have got Count Dooku, and now we have Bastila Shan fallen. And then she can also do stun, and just like the regular one has battle meditation, this one's going to have corrupted battle meditation. Instead of giving all of her allies buffs, she's going to be debuffing the opponent's team. Now the basic, and I actually really think the basics looks pretty amazing the way she swings that dual-wielded saber. Pretty awesome. It deals special damage, so keep in mind you'll want to do offense and crit chance on her mods, but she deals special damage to a target enemy and inflicts ability block. Now you may say, that's what the other one did. That's right. They want to kind of keep Bastila Shan the same as far as there being like a parallel, kind of a parallel plane, that the characters kind of look similar, act similar, and have similar abilities. So yes, her basic's going to ability block. It says this attack will deal 10% more damage and has 10% more critical chance for each active Sith ally. What this means is you can run her with Sith, and then you put a little bit of critical chance on her with some crit chance mod set, but if you stack her with an offense mod set and offense secondaries, she's more than likely going to crit because of the other Sith on the team, and she's also going to do more overall damage. Pretty awesome. Now the first special is called Wild Lightning, and there's not a thing in here. We'll go look at it but basically it's very similar to the Sith Assassin's lightning bolt that she throws. There's just not a PNG file for that here, or a JPEG for that here. But it will deal special damage again to a target enemy and shock them for 3 turns. And then it says if the target already had shock, it will then hit all the others for special damage on their team. So this is an AoE potential. So if you've got other shockers and you put shock out there, if she's the second one there and they already have shock, hers will not only deal shock, but it will deal damage to all the other enemies. This bonus damage can't be countered, so that's really important. And it says this attack can't be evaded, so she's definitely going to hit. Now, whether the shock lands or not still depends on the potency and tenacity check. Now, Fear is my absolute favorite animation. I think that's super cool, the way that this animation goes. I love it. And it says it's going to stun a target enemy for 1 turn with an 80% chance to stun another random enemy. This is kind of like an old DACA stun. So you're going to stun one and possibly stun another, and these can't be evaded. It also says when these stuns expire, inflict offense down, defense down, evasion down, speed down, expose, and stagger for 2 turns. These effects can't be resisted. That is 7 debuffs being applied once those stuns expire. So the Fear is actually really pretty cool. It's like a reverse battle meditation almost. And then To make matters worse, she actually has a reverse battle meditation they're calling Corrupted Battle Meditation. This is her first unique, and it says at the start of her turn, all enemies are going to lose 3% turn meter. Now, it's doubled against anybody that's not Jedi and not Sith. Now, the reason for that is they don't want to discount the previous Sith meta that's still running, actually, with a lot of the Treyas out there, and they don't want to discount the Darth Revan or the Jedi Knight Revan meta that is currently going on. They don't want to damage the current meta system. So it's doubled against anything but basically the current meta. No, it's not going to be doubled against the Jedi and the Sith. But for anybody else, it's going to double that. The enemy will actually lose 6% turn meter. So characters such as JTR or CLS, this is definitely going to make an impact. She will also then recover 1% protection at the beginning of her turn for every debuff on enemies. So for all those debuffs, she's going to get back a ton of protection. And then Corrupted Battle Meditation. What is it? Well, they're going to get it. It looks kind of like Battle Meditation, but red, and we'll see that here in a minute. And it gives them a negative 30% critical chance and a negative 30% critical or counter chance. So they're going to counter less often, and they're going to crit potentially less likely because of the 30% reduction. This is doubled, so 60% counter chance reduction and a 60% crit chance reduction against non-Jedi and non-Sith. So unless, if it's like CLS led teams or JTR teams, this is going to make a significant impact. So she's definitely going to have a place right away in territory wars, and because of her tankiness, because we know that Bastila Shan's a pretty tanky character, she's going to be usable at 3 stars. So I don't think she's someone that's going to come in and completely change the meta right away, and I don't think that her home will yet be known until we know more of the bigger picture of the dark side Old Republic characters such as Darth Malak and others. But for now, it's still going to be a solid add for territory wars or territory battles, but more specifically territory wars, to have against very specific team compositions to try to help control with the stun. Now, she does have 1 Zeta, and it's on her second unique called Sith Apprentice. And this one's pretty cool, actually. It says Bastila and the character in the leader slot. So let's pretend that's maybe Emperor Palpatine, or maybe that's Darth Traya, eventually some other character. They'll get 50% defense and 50% tenacity, and she'll get 50% defense and 50% tenacity, and they gain foresight at the start of turn. So she gives herself and the other foresight. Pretty awesome. So the second part of that is if Bastila's leader is a Sith, whenever an enemy is inflicted with death mark, marked, or shock, they're both going to get 5% offense stacking for the rest of the battle. So for her, and that's the rest of the battle. So for her and for her leader, they're going to get 5% stacking up to a maximum of plus 100% offense. Pretty crazy. It does not, though, apply to characters that are in the ally slot. Now, it showcases synergies, and it's showing, of course, the other 2 characters that apply shock, such as Emperor Palpatine and Count Dooku. And then, of course, it's showing some of the triumvirate. I really think right now the absolute best team in Arena would actually be the triumvirate with Darth Traya as the lead. And then, of course, probably Thrawn, a really fast Thrawn underneath them, and the Bastila Shan Fallen to be underneath Traya, and that would give her and Traya stacking offense, and then she's going to be there as an amazing support character. And I think since Revan teams just disregard taunt anyway, you don't really need that second tank. You really need these other abilities to shock and stun, and a lot of people have actually swapped to using Emperor Palpatine in their triumvirate teams. This might be able to replace either Emperor Palpatine, or you might even be willing to run the triumvirate with Emperor Palpatine and Bastila. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the arena battles that they've provided for us.
The sun was in front of me the whole time.